for this tutorial you will need your selected yarn. I'm using Stylecraft Special DK, a crochet hook and some scissors. So for this tutorial you're going to need to work in multiples of 18. I'm just going to do mine as a sample size, so I'm going to first of all chain 36 and then add an extra 6 chains for my corner. So you want to start off by chaining your desired amount. As I say, I'm going to do 36 plus 6, so 42 in total. So there is my chain of 42. To start our next round, we're now going to work back along this way first of all. So you want to count 6 chains from your end. So we don't count the loop that's on the hook. We are counting like the V's, they look like V's. So we're going to miss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to be working in the 6th chain from the hook, so this one here. And what we're going to be working is a cluster of 3 treble crochets. So that's 3 treble crochets in the UK. If you are in the US, they are classed as a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, so we've got 3 hoops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to repeat that 2 more times. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then 1 more into that same chain space. So now we have our cluster of 3. We just ignore this bit on the end here. We're then going to skip two chains, so skip this 1, 2, and then we're going to work into the one after that. So yarn over again, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to do another 2 trebles in that space. And then 1 more. Now going to do exactly the same thing again, so missing 2 chains and then going into the chain after that. So 3 treble crochets in this space, or 3 double if you are in the US. So you end up with a cluster of 3 treble crochets. Now when we have done these first 3 clusters, we are then going to skip 5 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, and we're going to do again 3 trebles into that same chain. So that is our dip. Some people call it the trough, so we'll have a peak and a trough. We're then going to do another 2 clusters of the treble crochet. So again we're going to go back to just missing 2 chains and inserting into the one after that. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And then 1 more. So we have our 3, our trough, and then we're going to work our way back up again. Now to do your peak, what you want to do when you get to this section is chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to work another 3 treble crochets in that same chain space. So yarn over, insert. So technically in that particular chain space you're going to have 6 treble crochets, or double if you're in the US, with 3 chains between them. So we go down, we go up, and then we're on our way back down again. So here you're going to yarn over, skip 2 spaces and insert into the next one. And we're just going to follow exactly the same pattern on the way back down again. So clusters of 3 treble crochet, skip 2 chains, and another cluster of 3. So now we are going down, up, back down again, and because we want to make our trough, you want to skip 5 chains this time so that we can work our way back up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 2 chains, and you should be left with 3 chains. So skip 2 and work into the last chain. So because we've got into the end of this row, this is actually going to start class as a peak. So you do want to chain 3 and then also do another set of 3 trebles, into this side. And then what you want to do is chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn your work so that we can work back the other way. Now don't worry if it coils up on itself. The more you build it, the tighter it will become. So now what you're going to be doing is working into the gaps that we have created from our clusters of trebles. So first of all you want to yarn over, insert into this gap here, and do your cluster of 3 trebles. And we are going to be working our way back down to the trough. So you would just yarn over and then go straight into your next gap. And then once more, because we always do 3 down and 3 up. So because we've already made our trough or our dip in the first row, what we actually want to do now is skip this one. So we go straight from here to here. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull through, and just do your 3 trebles in this section. So you see it just starts to pull it a little bit more into shape, and continue upwards. And then we do our third one. Now because this is our peak, we want to chain 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then do another cluster of trebles in this space. Continue in this way for the rest of your round. Work 3 clusters down, miss a space, and 3 clusters back up. When you get to your peak, you want to chain 3 and then work 3 more clusters into the same chain space. So we have 1, 2 clusters. We're going to work our third cluster into this end gap here. And because this is our peak, we're going to chain 3 and add another set of clusters here. So 3 trebles or 3 doubles if you're in the US. So at this point we've done 2 rows of that particular colour. So now you're at the end of your row, you then possibly want to change colour. I'm going to do 2 rows of each colour. The way that I do this may be slightly different to what other people's ways of doing it is. I think you've just got to use the way that's best for you. But what I like to do is chain 1, snip off, and pull that through, and then pull that nice and tight. The reason why I like to do this is because I know that that end is nice and tight and it won't come undone. I then take my new colour, I'm going to use this apricot. I will insert my hook into this last chain space here, so you look like you've got a little V. I'll grab the new colour and just pull it through, and then I will tie it off again. I will then take my hook again, insert that into the same space that I've just tied it off on, pull it through, and then you have a chain on your hook here. And then you're just going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, turn your work, and then start working back down towards your trough. So you would yarn over, do a cluster of 3 treble crochets, or 3 double if you're in the US. So 1 cluster there, second cluster, and your third cluster. You're going to skip this you're going to skip this gap here and then go into the next one. And you should be able to work out the pattern by now. 3 up, 3 down. When you go down to your trough, you skip. When you work up to your peak, you chain an additional 3 in between your 2 clusters in the peak. So chain 1, 2, 3, and another set of clusters in the peak. What I will do is I will make sure that I have a written tutorial to go alongside this video tutorial, because once you get the hang of it you should be able to just work your way up your blanket and change colours as you please. If you wanted to do more rows for each, that's absolutely fine. If you wanted to do one blanket in one solid colour, that is absolutely fine as well. The options are open for you. This is an example of a granny ripple or chevron pattern that I've done previously, and these colours work really well together. And you can see I've used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours and then just repeated them as I've gone up to the blanket.